Your brain on malnutrition. Let's talk about cookbooks for a minute. So when I was a child, before anorexia, because I was 17 at the age of onset, so I had all of my teens pretty much, pretty cool. I probably cooked the odd chocolate cake. Certainly knew how to cook a microwave pizza. We used to get those ones that the pizza box you actually turns into the plate that you microwave in it. Really cool. You like turn the box upside down, then you put this little pizza in there and you microwave it. I knew how to cook one of those. Pot noodles. I knew how to cook those. I could cook toast, cheese on toast. I could cook things, and my mom, she definitely taught us how to actually cook. But I think I was more interested in eating than cooking. That would be fair enough to say. Well, ironically, when I went into a state of malnutrition, the opposite happened. Well, I guess it's not really the opposite. I was still very interested in eating, but I had this fear of doing so. But my interest in food and cooking went berserk. And it's not like it happened overnight, so I couldn't put my finger on it and say, oh, I woke up and I was obsessed with cookbooks today. It didn't happen like that. It was just this gradual, over the years actually, this gradual growing of my collection of cookbooks grew, and the amount of cookery shows that I used to watch, even though then cookery shows weren't such a big thing, but if one was on, I was watching it. My interest in all of those things just developed and developed and developed. And ironically, the less I ate, the more interested in food. And that's not ironic at all when you think about it, because the more into a state of malnutrition one's body becomes, the more one's brain is like, mental hunger, you need to eat, you need to eat, you need to eat. And I used to find sitting and looking through cookbooks really calming. In fact, I could say that every evening my favorite thing to do was to eat the foods that I allowed myself to eat, and whilst doing so be looking through a cookbook. And the best situation would be doing those things and at the same time watching a cooking show. It used to actually calm me, make me feel happy and warm and cozy to be flicking through a cookbook. And I would do that at the expense of going out with friends and anything like that. I would just say, I was quite isolated when I was underweight, when I was malnourished anyway, but a lot of it was because I wanted to go home and do my cozy evening ritual of looking through a cookbook. So this is my bookshelf today. There's books on it. A lot of them are Matt's management books, but there's not a single cookbook actually. Who would have thought? So the fact that there's not a cookbook in my house is because I'm no longer thinking about food the whole time. The mental hunger's not there. I just eat. And I ate to the point where the mental hunger wasn't needed anymore. When I got nutritionally rehabilitated, I found that cozy, warm, happy feeling that I received when flicking through cookbooks just wasn't there anymore. And instead, I found flicking through cookbooks boring as fuck, because it really actually is. And from my point of view now, from a nourished brain, the thought that I used to sit in on my own and look through cookbooks rather than go and socialize or go and do something else, something infinitely more interesting, it feels very foreign to me. Although I still can put myself in that place and know that at that time it felt like the thing that I wanted to do the most. But that is an illustration of my brain in malnutrition. My brain in malnutrition was obsessed with cookbooks and cookery shows, and it gave me intense feelings of reward for what I called looking at my food porn. My brain out of malnutrition doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff. But it's okay. Remember, your brain's not being stupid. There's nothing wrong with your brain. In fact, your brain's being really smart. Your brain knows that you're in a state of malnutrition. It knows that you need food, and it's trying to make you focus on food the whole time. So Don't do that by cooking through cookbooks. Do that by getting food and eating food. You have to nutritionally rehabilitate your body. And when you do so, your brain will go, oh, food, water, oxygen, all of these 3 vital substances are being met. I don't need to obsess about them anymore. I'm going to go and think about X, Y, Z. Whatever else it is that your brain will start to think about, which will likely be more interesting to you then than flicking through cookbooks and thinking about food is the whole time. So the key message, if you have a food porn obsession, that is your brain on malnutrition. The way that you come out of that is getting yourself out of a state of malnutrition by nutritionally rehabilitating. And in order to do that, you need to eat a ton of food.